Polish border guards were shot at from Belarus, which hit a Polish vehicle. And I see very little mainstream media coverage of this, so I feel like we should talk about it because this is really bad. Polish border guards came under fire from the territory of Belarus, resulting in their patrol vehicle being struck by gunfire and the two sides windows being shattered. Polish media outlet RMF24 reported on June 15th. The incident, which occurred several days ago, was revealed by the head of the border service during a briefing with members of the Polish parliament. The identity of the assailants and the type of weaponry used in the shooting remains unknown at the time. However, evidence confirms that the border patrol vehicle was hit with two side windows completely penetrated. A colonel, a border service officer, emphasized the gravity of the situation, stating 2 officers were inside the vehicle and their lives and well-being were put at risk. He also revealed that the Polish patrols are frequently targeted with stones on an almost daily basis. They're the Belarusian military, not a Palestinian child. Why are they throwing stones? What? Since the start of the year, a staggering 12,300 attempts by migrants to illegally cross the Polish border have been recorded by Polish border guards. An electronic system has been placed along the 200-kilometer border. Okay, this is not as important. So they're throwing stones at the Poles. They're just like throwing rocks at them. Wild. I don't know why. Just trying to cause an international incident for no reason. I don't know if they've just been propagandized and they're acting on their own initiative. I don't know if they've been told by the government to provoke the border guards. I don't know if the order was given out from up top or, there was some Belarusian wacko that decided they were going to fire upon the Polish in a way that could possibly trigger Article 5. It's not going to, right? For those of you who don't know, Article 5 of the NATO treaty, of the NATO alliance, which means that when one NATO state is attacked, other NATO states need to come to their defense. So hypothetically, if Poland is attacked, and there's been a lot of speculation about stuff like that, for example, the Russians striking supply lines in Poland to try to stop the inflow of weapons, they've never gone through with it because the Russians understand what that would mean. That could trigger Article 5. That's why there was so much talk about this and so much concern about this. Last time there was a lot of talk of an incident like this when a anti-air rocket went into Polish territory, which the majority of press and majority of sources seem to be indicating that it was Ukrainian. But this right here, this could hypothetically cause a spiraling incident that leads to Article 5 being triggered. I don't know why the Belarusian are playing games like this. I don't know why they're throwing stones, but I know what they're saying on Russian state TV. Russian propagandists are saying that Poland is preparing an armed provocation against Belarus. So the Belarusians are throwing stones at the Polish and shooting at them, busting up the windows, hitting their vehicles with bullets. And it's the Poles that are preparing an armed provocation against Belarus for whatever reason. Anyway, let's watch. This is Soleniev, by the way, Russia's chief cockface. If the Poles or the Ukrainians move, and it doesn't matter if it's a bunch of Belarusian traitors serving in the Ukrainian army. By the way, I think he's talking about the Belarusian volunteers. There are a decent amount of Belarusian volunteers serving within the Ukrainian military, fighting against the Russian invasion. Many of them see the fight against the Russian government as also a fight against the corrupt and oligarchical and dictatorial Belarusian government, which has, been cracking down on the civilian population pretty harshly since his fiasco of election results a few years ago. And a lot of Belarusians believe that the only way that there's going to be change in Belarus is through armed struggle. And that's part of the reason why they've gone to Ukraine to fight. Actually, I think we have their song. 1 second. Can we actually get their song up? I think I have it saved here somewhere. Yeah, here it is. And it's literally, the song is by liberation of Ukraine. So it's literally, you know, we will gain our freedom by liberation of Ukraine, etc., etc. You get the idea.
Пройду няўхільна цяжкі шлях вайны мярзотнай і крывавай на наших волатных плячах устымем сцяг шляхетнай славы, як Каліноўскі наш Кастусь. Мне прыклад, так і лёс Ліцвіна. Я вызваляю Беларусь. Праз вызваленне Украіны, як тур клянуся бараніць. У пекле бітвы побратима наш гонар вечна будзе жыць. У памяці маёй радзімы абавязкова павернусь. Калі ў бітвах не загіну, у родны край, у Беларусь. Праз вызваленне Украіны, у родны край, у Беларусь. Праз вызваленне Украіны.
One of the best, if not the best song out of any of the military groups in this war. This is the Belarusian regiment in the Ukrainian army. But just, yeah, that's who they're referring to. They're just angry that the Russians can't write bangers like this, and they have to settle for the more subpar songs like Flowers of Bakhmut or whatever. Okay, let's continue. Because it is clear that they will try to pretend, it's the liberation movement of Belarus. They are acting on their own. In my opinion, it should be stated that we don't give a damn what you bastard call yourselves. We'll just hit Kiev with a tactical nuclear weapon and there'll be nothing left. Or Warsaw. By the way, can I just say that Russia's acting more and more like North Korea, and Russian state TV is acting more and more like North Korean state TV every day of the week. Like, just like casually, just like, we will nuke them, and you know, we will nuke and kill millions of people. Yeah, but whatever. Screw the Belarusians. By the way, we'll nuke and kill millions of people. Not only in Kiev, we'll also do it in Warsaw and cause World War III. Yeah, we'll do that. Whatever. We can't win a ground war invading our neighbor with an interconnected highway system. But we're going to fight the largest and most powerful alliance on the planet, which was able to manage an invasion of Iraq halfway across the world, and win the war, not the occupation, in 28 days. They're going to be able to defeat that alliance structure, which didn't even fully participate in that invasion. A lot of countries like France literally didn't and avoided it, but now you would need to fight the entirety of that alliance. It's just casually just dropping it with just no logic, no thought put into what the effects of that would be, how Russia would fare in a nuclear war, what it would mean for their people. Just like casually just dropping like doomsday scenario stuff, right? Just normalizing it to their population. The same situation was last fall when they tried to organize something similar in Euphoria after Kharkiv and Kherson. But back then, Polonez and Iskander missile systems were enough to tame them. I think the tactical nuclear weapon is addressed not so much to Kiev, but to the Westerners, so they would be restrained. That's actually it. Yes. The Ukrainians, when they hear the tactical nuclear weapons, like it's bad that Russia's making terror threats, but they literally just say, stop, fuck off, we don't care, we're gonna keep fighting for our liberty. It really is aimed at Westerners. the nuke language. It's not aimed at intimidating the Ukrainians. It's aimed at intimidating Westerners and making them scared to support Ukraine. Even though every single time the West has been like, actually, we are going to send F-16s. Actually, we are going to send ATACMS missiles. Actually, at least the British are. Actually, we are going to send Western armor. Actually, we are going to send billions of dollars military aid. Really, nothing happens. And that's why these threats are becoming less and less useful, is because as the West continues to push forward in aid, these threats have amounted to, squat, literally nothing. The plan that former NATO Secretary General Rasmussen talked about the possibility of Poland introducing its troops into Ukraine, is one of the backup plans that we have known about for a long time. That's what they created, the tripartite brigade. Exactly. Yeah, no, this is just nonsense. There's not a plan to deploy Polish troops in Ukraine I don't know what they're, again, just nonsense. There is a plan for various provocations from the Polish and Lithuanian sides, but it is a so-called limited operation by the Special Operation Forces and units. And it's crazy that they know that this is happening, but have no paper trail, no audio, no evidence, nothing whatsoever for what would be a massive allegation that the Polish government is trying to provoke the Belarusians into fighting a war with them, as the Belarusians are literally trying to stone the Poles. Those plans have existed since 2020, as you rightly said, using fugitives and under their guise to conduct provocations not only on the southern border, but also on the western border. From what the president said yesterday, even some kind of limited, in their wording, special operation, they think that 200 to 300 people with light weapons on tanks and armored combat vehicles would not be a reason. As I understood it, yesterday, the president made it clear that any armed provocation would be a reason for a decisive reaction from our side. Yeah, Poland is not planning an invasion of Belarus. Lithuania is not planning an invasion of Belarus. There's probably a war plan drawn up if we were to spiral into war with them, like a NATO war plan somewhere. What that war plan is, we don't know. I would assume it would probably heavily involve trying to protect the Latching Corridor, which is, for those of you who don't know, if you look at a map of NATO, there's a little bit of area, little itty bitty bit of area between Poland and the Baltic states here that, would, if could be cut off, could isolate the Baltic states, which then could allow Russia to try to take Estonia, Latvia, and Lithuania. And this area needs to be defended, and they could launch this attack from Belarus. This is something that NATO war planners have been planning on for a while. It would be a two-pronged attack from Kaliningrad and Belarus to try to cut off the Baltic states so the Russians could then occupy it and then continue the war elsewhere. That is something that NATO war planners, these are things that they think about. So there are war plans per se, but no active planning, provocation, and any of this has been proven. All of this is just complete nonsense. But don't worry. When the Poles finally do provoke them and they go to war, Russia's going to have these super soldiers right here, which displayed their prowess at the St. Petersburg International Economic Forum. And I just want to emphasize that the purpose of the St. Petersburg International Economic Forum is to attract investments to Russia. They had a performance of Russian soldiers, very beefy Russian soldiers, mind you. Look at those. They've got big gazongas on them, right? Blowing up a heating pad, tearing up a tennis ball, and bending some metal. And this is supposed to be cool, I think. Let's watch. Again, I don't know how this attracts investment.
Который легкий движение превращается. Поддержка нужна, друзья. Поддержка. Давай, Юра. Вот и все, как тут видно.
Has Russian society like degraded so far that they've just resulted to like caveman, like tests of strength? Like, we don't worry about jets. We have strong man who bend metal. Maybe he bend jet. Maybe he catch Heimar and throw it back. I just so stupid, man. So stupid.